Art the Clown might be popping up in another horror franchise. Let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
It's just been announced that David Howard Thornton, the actor behind the infamous Art the Clown in the Terrifier franchise, has been cast in Behind the Mask 2: The Return of Leslie Vernon in a key role. Returning director Scott Glauserman stated, "David is one of the defining faces of the modern slasher era. If Behind the Mask was about deconstructing the classic rules, then a sequel 20 years later has to reckon with what the genre has become. Bringing David into Leslie's world lets us put the old guard and the new blood in direct conversation, which is exactly where this movie should live." For those who haven't seen the 2006 hidden gem Behind the Mask, it's a meta-mockumentary centered on a wannabe slasher villain named Leslie Vernon. In this universe, the popular slashers really exist and are infamous for their tyranny of terror. Slasher icons like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Michael Myers are more than just movie characters, they're actually Leslie's inspiration. Nathan Basil plays the scythe-wielding Vernon as Taylor Gentry, a young journalist played by Angela Gothels, documents his preparation for a murder spree. It's kind of like if Spinal Tap followed Hannibal Lecter instead of a struggling rock band, but don't worry, this one goes up to 11 too, especially in its gory third act. The film mocks 80s slasher tropes despite coming out in 2006, a few years after the whole Scream meta commentary thing had become stale. I guarantee had this movie came out 5 years earlier, it would have been a mega hit. Thankfully, the movie has garnered a cult following over the years as it's come to digital and physical media, with 80s horror icons like Kane Hodder and Robert Englund playing significant roles in the original film. It begs the question of, will David Howard Thornton play a brand new character or the one that made him famous? Now, there is obviously some problems with that. That could get a little messy regarding copyright, especially considering some of the legal drama the Terrifier franchise currently faces. Check out this video here if you want a full scoop on that mess. It's also likely that they're positioning David Howard Thornton to play a similar role as what Robert Englund did in the original film. In the original 2006 Behind the Mask, he plays a Dr. Loomis type character called Doc Halloran, and yes, that name totally comes from The Shining. If you like Scream, you have to watch Behind the Mask. It is chock full of horror references and meta commentary. The point being is that it's very likely that David Howard Thornton has been cast as some sort of new character who is only going to talk about Art the Clown, which actually would be a major first for David Howard Thornton as he rarely gets to talk in the movies that he's in. Now, with all of that being said, it's not impossible that Art the Clown shows up in this sequel. Art the Clown has appeared in a lot since his mainstream success with Terrifier 2 back in 2022. He made a clowny cameo appearance on the Pete Davidson-led Bupkis over on Peacock. He killed Catherine Corcoran for a second time in the Ice Nine Kills music video for the Terrifier song A Work of Art, and will even be a playable character in Dead by Daylight soon. There is no stopping Art popping up in a ton of other horror media, so who's to say the killer clown won't show up in this new sequel, especially a sequel in a meta horror franchise. I'm still shocked Art the Clown didn't get referenced in Scream 7, by the way. The Terrifier fans would be lining up to see this flick if it was some sort of like Terrifier crossover versus movie where Leslie takes a shot at Art the Clown like he's David to Goliath. There was even a hint at that in the post made from the Leslie Vernon Returns account about Thornton's casting, which stated, "When you're making a movie that comments on the modern state of slashers, the conversation cannot continue without Terrifier and Art the Clown." Now the question becomes, what will Leslie have to say about Art's dominance in the space? From that post alone, it's pretty much confirmed that Art the Clown is going to be some sort of centerpiece in the film, which only makes sense for a Behind the Mask sequel, by the way, that is commenting on the modern state of slashers. How can you not talk about Art the Clown in that case? I would go so far as to say that Art the Clown scoring some nasty kills in this new movie and then having some sort of big fight in the third act with Leslie Vernon could make this movie the new generation's Freddy vs. Jason. Now, as cool as a Terrifier versus Behind the Mask movie would be, I don't think it's in the sequel's best interest. Leslie Vernon Returns has generated over $400,000 on its Kickstarter, which is almost double the amount of dough Terrifier 2 was able to raise back in 2022, when that franchise was in a similar position. Clearly, Behind the Mask has that grassroots fan backing effort to make this sequel a much bigger hit than its predecessor, especially now that slashers are way more popular than they were in 2006. Having David Howard Thornton in the cast alone is already such a big positive for this movie. I don't even think you need him to play Art the Clown in the film to get all of the Terrifier fans to check this one out. The big point to be made here is that if they make a true Behind the Mask sequel rather than a versus movie that kinda leans on the positives of another franchise, I think that's going to show so much confidence in something that simply was put out in the wrong era. Now that slashers are in, this new sequel could stake Leslie Vernon as a much higher tier slasher icon, a position I think he totally deserves. Now, fan backing alone isn't going to turn this character into an icon. The movie's also gotta be really good. If this sequel can deliver on some badass kills, some sharp commentary on the state of the genre, and an interesting story, then we might have something special on our hands here. Listen, whatever this movie ends up doing, I am going to support it. I have been wanting this sequel for such a long time, but I just hope that they stay true to what made this series so great all the way back in 2006, opposed to just leaning on the Terrifier franchise because that's super popular right now. There's a reason that so many fans of the original opened up their hearts and, well, more importantly, their wallets to make this sequel happen. I think the best route for Behind the Mask 2 is have David Howard Thornton play a similar role to what Robert Englund was doing in the original film. He's the bad guy, or kind of good guy bad guy essentially, who is hunting Leslie Vernon in the modern day. You have your references to Art the Clown and some other slasher villains, maybe like Johnny from In a Violent Nature, maybe even the Jester gets in on some of this ish. But ultimately, I think David Howard Thornton has to play a new role in this film. I don't think anyone would be opposed to an Art the Clown cameo though, just not something that dominates the whole story. After all, I'm not really sure if Leslie Vernon would put up too much of a fight with Art the Clown, who, as of right now, I don't think can die. We're still not 100% sure on how supernatural Leslie Vernon really is. Stay confident and stay true in what makes Behind the Mask so great. Before we wrap up today's video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to this page for more updates on the most exciting horror projects on the way. Also, the best way to support this channel is by becoming a Patreon member. There's multiple bonus videos that go up there every single week where I react to different TV shows and movies. Please check that out by clicking on the link in the description below. One final plug and I'll shut the heck up. Please make sure to also check out my film channel, Human Egg Productions, where we're currently posting horror and comedy short films. If you like slashers especially, check out the gory short I wrote and directed called Chicken Man. You won't be disappointed. Thank you to everyone who supports all of my pages. So what do you guys think? Do you want a true Leslie Vernon sequel or some sort of Terrifier crossover versus movie? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.